one wire project, two completely different looks. You could use it as a candle holder or a dangling plant holder. I think this is one of the most versatile crafts I've made yet. So if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive in. Okay, the materials needed for this project are super simple. Of course, you're gonna need the three things: bigger cutters, bigger flat pliers, bigger needle nose pliers, a steel block to hammer, a bigger hammer would be better. I don't have one. 10 gauge wire for the hook and 12 gauge wire for the design, and some 16 gauge wire. And if you would like, get some beads. They don't have to be glass beads, they could be any beads, and that's everything. Okay, so we're going for a closed hook here. So we're just squeezing it together like that and flattening it out. Perfect. There, and then squeezing it closer together. Okay, and for the hook part, we are going to take, well, you could do it with either pliers, it doesn't really matter. And you're just going to bend up the hook like that. Okay, so now you have a hook, and then you're going to bend it backwards. So we're going this way and we're bending it backwards and trying to keep the wires in line. Now, if you were just doing this hook to hang keys or something, then you could start the spirals right here and just have a little hook. But because we're hanging a glass jar from this hook eventually, we need to make sure that the part away from the wall is at least half the distance, a little more than half the distance of your container. So I am going right here, halfway, and I'm going to bend the hook up, and again, keeping it flat, going to bend it up like this, and keeping your pliers on it. I am going to now bend it like this, and to help hold it in place, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it right here. You don't have to, but it would be easier. So I'm taking 20 gauge wire and I'm just doing a wrap at the base of the hook. Moving that out of the way, keeping it nice and tight, and I'm just wrapping wire nice and tight around the part here. And if you want to hold it like this, probably better, just to keep your two wires together. And we're just doing a wrap. There we go, perfect. And then a little wrap there. Okay, and now one wire needs to be up and the other wire needs to be down. So I'm taking this wire, one of the wires, and I'm folding it down vertically. There we go, nice. Okay, and we'll do readjusting after, but we're good to go right now. And then there's so many designs you could do with this hook. You could do zigzags. I start at the top here, and I'm just going to make spirals on the top and on the bottom. Make sure the middle spiral is big enough for your screw to go into the wall. So make the big, oh, I should be doing it out here. So make the big one in the center big. And yes, 10 gauge wire is sometimes hard to mold. It just takes some practice. It's probably a good idea to wear glasses doing this so you don't poke your eyes. And keep going. Good. There we go. And we want a nice big spiral. Perfect. And there we go. just adjust as you go. Now I'm thinking to myself, do I want some zigzags going up like my last project? I think for this one, I'm just gonna do a nice spiral, but we'll see. Okay, perfect. My wire was a little bent coming into it, so it's a little wonky there, but that's okay. Okay, and then I'm bending it this way so that it sits in line with my hook. I'm readjusting my hook. I'll readjust more of my hook in the end, but there we go. Okay, the top is done, and now we're gonna work on the bottom. Because this spiral is going this way, I want this spiral going that way, counterclockwise. So we're going to take this wire and start again. Here we go. Awesome. And it's all in the wrist action with this. There we go. And now you notice that it's off to the side, so you have to move it more in the center. So I'm going to grab my hook while I do this so that it forms sort of an S pattern. Oh, perfect. That's lovely. Okay, and I'm going to do a little more on the top here. There we go. Straighten this out a bit. So I'm just going to hammer this. Okay, and now that I've finished hammering, I'm just doing some fine tuning of this project, making sure it's going to sit nice and flat on the wall. You just adjust as you go. Perfect. And there we go. Okay, now the hook is done. And we're on to the second project. So we're going to move that aside, move this aside, take our piece of glass, or we're not going to yet, but for this part, I'm going to actually use a 12 gauge wire, a little easier to mold, and I don't need it to be as sturdy as the hook is. So this is going to be a 12 gauge wire so that my hands aren't so sore, because sometimes working with the 10 gauge wire, hands get a little sore. Okay, so 2 pieces of 12 gauge wire at 16 inches or about 41 centimeters. And what we're going to do is we're going to mold these 2 pieces of wire around the glass jar. So I'll start with this one first and gently just molding it around halfway, about right there. 12 gauge is so much easier to bend. And then taking a moment, and I'm going to do spirals on each of the ends here. Okay, these ones I'm going to leave open as well. So it's all in the wrist action when you do these spirals. Notice my wrist as I turn the copper wire. There we go, probably about there. Do the same to the other side. And you can keep the pliers in and you can just turn your wrist, or you can move the pliers too. Right now I'm just keeping the pliers inside and turning my wrist. Like this. Perfect. So we're kind of getting this shape at the moment. And doing the exact same on the other side. Good. There we go. Perfect. Ah! Okay, and one more. Here. Nice. Okay, so now it's going to look something like that, which is amazing. You can hammer this or you don't have to hammer it. You make sure that your vase is going to fit in it. And yes, mine is going to fit. In fact, I'm going to do the spiral a little bit bigger to make the vase fit a little better. So we're just going to roll in a little more on each side and then wrap it tighter around the vase. There we go. And we'll try this one in. Tighter. And then wrap it tighter around the vase. Trying to make sure that these two are pretty standard in their curl and their size. Okay, we're going to try this again. And, oh, got to flatten that. We're going to try this again and pick it up. Okay, and that's better. Yep, fits perfectly. I'm going to try and wrap with the 16 gauge wire, and then we're making hooks. So just cut off a little bit, and we'll do one side first. These are jewelry vices, or what I call jewelry crafting vices. If you want to support my channel, I have an affiliate link for them on my website, twirlcraftstudio.com. And I'm just opening this up. Putting this in and then closing it. Oh, that's going to work so much better. Just keeps it nice and tight while I can wrap. Taking my pliers, flattening it. There we go, because this is 16 gauge. Do one more wrap. Perfect. Okay, and then as it's closed, oh, that's perfect. I am going to cut off some of the extra, not all of it. I'm going to take this side out of the vise and turn it the opposite way. Put this side in the vise like that, and then take the opportunity here to use my needle nose pliers, and I'm just doing a loop here, and this loop is so that the links can connect to this. There we go. Oops, I gotta hold it like that. There. Perfect. Okay, and now you have a sturdy link, and I'm going to do the same to the opposite side. So just taking some 16 gauge. There we go, and then wrapping it around. So there we go. And this just takes practice, taking it off and just doing some adjustments before I wrap the wire around. Tightening this wire like that, and then rolling the wire upwards. Just showing on camera a little bit of a different angle. Yay. Okay, and then closing this. Okay, here's my 10 gauge wire. To make this chain, we're going to have consistent sizes. So the spirals are going to be about 6 inches, which is 15 centimeters approximately, and the other one's 2 inches, 5 centimeters. With these ones, I'm going to do some little spirals for the chain, and they're S spirals. Nice and small. And the other side. Perfect. again, you can choose whether you want to hammer these for more texture and durability, or if you want to just leave them. This is not very flat, so I always take my flat pliers and just flatten them. There's my first spiral, and then the smaller pieces are going to be just for S chain links. So you take it like that, you spin it around one way, and then you spin it around the other way, like that, and then you flatten it out. Okay, so the S hook and the just chain link, probably 6 of these wires, and then I'm going to cut about 10 of these. Okay, now that I have all the spirals made and some of the S-links, we're on to the next step. I have these glass beads that I have left over from other projects. Sometimes, just a quick tip, because everyone asks me about glass beads, sometimes you can get them in secondhand stores. Old necklaces that look gaudy as a necklace, look for the glass beads because they're very functional in other projects. So that's just a tip. So now I'm going to add a little pop of color to this, but first we're going to start by putting some of these. So whatever you do to one side, because it's symmetrical, I do it to the other side. So we're taking some hooks and we're starting off. I put an S on that side, I'm putting an S on this side.
Hands up for tonight again, even in another lifetime. Find me there, and let's do tonight again, even in another lifetime. Find me then, and let's do tonight.
Okay, now that this is as long as I wanted it to be, you kind of check that it's the similar height at the top. Now we need a loop to go around both of those and to hook on. You can use any sort of round object and just bend the wire around. This is a 12 gauge wire as well. Kind of like a keychain loop. And then I'm cutting off the ends, the sharp ends there to keep it circular. Hopefully it doesn't fly across the room this time. And adding both of them to this loop. And then adding my jar. Nice. Oh, it's looking so good. And then you put it on the wall, on the hook. Oh, that looks so nice. And you can put candles in here. You can put plants coming off here. If you don't want to make the hook, you can actually hang this as a window charm as well. So it's so versatile. If you were to do this, how would you design it? What would you do differently? Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.